I'm Aaron Groseclose, president of MasterBlend, and we're going to talk today about removing dye bleed from oriental rugs. And we get a lot of calls at MasterBlend where someone has unfortunately bled a rug. And we have a product called Magic Dye and Stain Remover, and we're going to go ahead and use this material to correct the dye bleed that you see on this rug. Now, when this has happened, unfortunately, there's not really too much that you can do, but just go ahead and use a dye stripper. Re-cleaning the rug is not going to help. So we've already started working on this rug, and you can see areas where we've corrected the dye bleed. The first dye to bleed is red, then the blues, then the blacks. So the red, being the first to bleed, is the easiest to correct. Because there is a bit of a pattern in this rug, what we're going to do is just wet the area that we're going to work in with just plain water and a trigger sprayer. Nothing too high-tech. And the reason that we're wetting it out so that as we apply the magic, it will not wick into the friendly dyes. If you get it onto the other colors, there is the chance that you might cause some color loss. If that happens, you're going to have to resort to some dye pens to touch it up. So let's wet it out and try to prevent that. Now we've gone ahead and I've already mixed the magic. There's a blue scoop in the container, and I've put a scoop into 4 ounces of warm to hot water and gone ahead and stirred it up. Now you will need, though, to use some steam to activate this material. It's like a bell curve. When it's cold, it's not working. You apply the steam, it's going to pull the dye, and as it cools down, it stops working. So I've got an artist brush that I can go ahead to use to paint in the area. So I'm just going to go ahead and wear a little safety equipment, my gloves, and I'm taking the artist brush and I'm just going to paint in those areas where I want to pull out the red dye. Now this rug was in a flood and was in standing water for several days, so it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to get it out. So we can reapply more material and apply more steam if it's not budging. You can also apply the material in an open area with an old toothbrush. You can use a pipette for the material. But if you are using a pipette, continue to stir it so that you're not pulling any of the powder in the concentrate form from the bottom of the container. So we're going to go ahead and apply some steam to it, and I've mixed the material a little bit weaker than the 1 scoop, because it's always better to start from the minors and go to the majors. So we're going to have it diluted a little bit weaker, give it some steam, see how it's going. We can apply more product and make it stronger if necessary. So let's apply the steam. At first, you might want to look a little bit more frequently to see how it's going. I have this steamer that I happen to like. It's from Crane. It's a bit expensive, but it's quite a nice one. You could use a steam iron and a towel. Now I have a towel sitting here, not so much to pick up dye transfer, which will happen, more from the heat than anything else, but I want the towel to apply it to cool the area, because remember, the material's on that bell curve, so by cooling it down, I've stopped the stripping action of the material. Now the magic is actually a reducing agent of a proprietary formula. So see, there is some dye transfer, but it's because of the heat in the area. Now I really didn't budget at all, which is what I want to do. I want to start, remember, from the minors to the majors. So I can take my little high-tech toothbrush here, stir it up, get some of the material, and come back and apply a little bit more onto those areas that we're working on. And then we'll come back, give it some more heat, and see if we need to mix the product a little bit stronger or if it's just a longer time with the steam. So again, you could take a steam iron, dampen a cloth, apply the heat that way. I like this type of a steamer because I can control it a little bit better. Now this is about right. There is really no white in a rug. It's cream, it's ivory, it's off-white. So we don't want to go too far. So this is good enough. We're going to move on. Now, as you can see, this is a time-consuming process. When it comes to charging the customer, it's really based on time and materials. You're just going to have to get some inexpensive scraps of oriental rugs that you can practice on to get a sense and a feel for how this goes. So once we kind of get it where we want to go, we can take this handy carding brush and card it out, and that looks fine. Now, how to evaluate the job is to put the rug on the ground and stand up as your customer is going to see it, rather than being right down here and trying to micromanage it. Once you have corrected all of the rug, then you need to rinse the product out. You don't want to leave any chemical behind in a rug. So rinse the magic out. You can use an upholstery tool, a floor tool, and just go ahead with plain water and rinse the rug. After you've rinsed the product out, it should not bleed again, but just to be safe, dry the rug flat. Do not hang it on a dry pole. By drying it flat, you won't have gravity pulling any potential residual dye bleed.